Hello, I'm back. It is March in Ohio. According to my log, the last batch of rocks I tumbled was in the end of November. I said then I just don't like going outside to clean stuff off in the snow and the cold. The temperature was in the low 40s today and supposed to warm up again, and I've just been itching to go ahead and get some rocks tumbling again. Before we get going, I do want to show I've been busy this winter. First of all, my table was cleared off most of last year. This table was covered with all kinds of crap and I was struggling for room, and I made a little room for myself. And at the risk of making people seasick, I'm going to pick up the camera a second. I hope I don't make anybody seasick, but we're going to travel a little bit. Okay, I built kind of a rock tumbling station. I have all my grit up top. I have my 3 tumblers there, the Lotto there to the left, and the 12-pound Lortone and the double 3-pound Lortone. And I got this all set up. I built this myself. And now I won't have to get down on my knees on the cement floor to deal with the tumblers. And not only that, I found on Amazon this power strip that has individual power for each one, so I can turn on and off each one individually. And I've got them labeled, the 12, the 3, and the Lotto. So I'm looking forward to not having to get down on my hands and knees on the floor to be able to deal with the tumblers. Alright, so next question, what are we going to tumble? And to be honest with you, this probably reflects in most of my videos. I didn't plan it out. I don't know. I really hadn't thought a whole lot about it. I want to get things going again. I figured I'd start out taking a look in this tote, because in here, this is all of what was in the 12-pound at the end of last year. This is what I took out of the 12-pound when I quit tumbling. And it looks like I got a fair amount of rocks in there. They've been sitting in water all winter because I've heard you're not supposed to basically let them dry off once you start tumbling them. So I've got those. These are definitely a possibility. I could just pick up where I left off. Very nice piece of smoky quartz. There's some, looks like I threw some flint in there. I could just throw those in there. I had also last year considered trying to put, I have a rock over here. Trying to tumble this. Now, with this, I would absolutely have to, I'd have to put this in a 12-pound. I probably couldn't put anything else in with it. I'd have to probably fill it with pea gravel or something like that. I don't know if I want to try that yet or not. I've got another piece, a big piece of jasper I can do the same thing with. I'm not sure. I'm kind of leaning right now towards, I'm just going to go ahead and put the stuff in that was in before. I did, though, one thing last year, I'd mentioned this, I put a piece of amber in the tumbler, okay, and I tried it out, and this is how it turned out. It didn't really get shiny. It kind of, I'm thinking I could have polished this by hand, but I didn't. It is amber. It's translucent. You can see through it. But if you could feel this, it literally feels like a piece of wood. It's really, really light for a rock. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. In the interest of not having a 45-minute video, I'm going to stop this. I don't think anybody wants to watch me rinse these off. I'm going to take these rocks. I'm going to dump the water off of them, rinse them off good, set them up into the 12-pound, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I'll be back in internet time in a blink of an eye. Alright, I'm back. Peeking in there. The rocks I had in that tote only filled this about half, but I found a bag of smoky quartz, and I think I'm going to fill it up with that. So I have a whole bag of that here. I've got a 5-pound bag of it. So I'm just going to fill this, well, not fill, but 2/3 to 3/4 with the smoky quartz, and we'll see what we get out of that. That looks about good. I think I've got enough of that now. And as before, we're going to take some water and we're going to fill it up to just below the top of the level of the rocks. Getting kind of excited about this. Haven't done it. According to my little log right here, the last batch I did was November 30th of last year. But I'm going to fill it a little higher, and I'm going to put a little more rock in there. I've got it up to about there with rocks right now, so you can see I've got over half, but I'm not. I think I got room for a little more in there. Alrighty, and I think I've got a couple rocks over here I'm going to throw in just to kind of help. There we go. Okay, now we're going to add the grit, and this is what I've been looking forward to. It's right here where I need it. I can set it right down. Got my little scoop. I'm using straight 60 grit, 12-pound barrel. I think I'm going to put 10 of these in there, which would be about 20 tablespoons. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Got that taken care of. Now, I tend to, before I put the top on, I'm gonna wet the edges of it. I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but I do it. I don't know if that helps get me a seal or not, but there we go. I'm gonna put that in there. There we go. It's in there. Put the top on. The only thing I'm thinking of with this new station, I'm probably going to consider getting some totes to sit the tumblers in, because if this barrel would leak, it's going to leak all over my fiberboard shelves here, and fiberboard's not great for liquid, so I don't want that to happen. And this barrel is pretty old. I have a new barrel, but I just don't want to start using it until this one fails, so I'm kind of asking for trouble there, but we'll see how that goes. So here we go. Put that on there. Can't see if I'm in. Alright, and ignition. Our first batch of the 2022 year. Alright, so now I've got my 2 3-pound barrels. What do I want to do with those? I'm going to come back over to the table a little bit, and I'm going to start from there. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the camera off, and when I come back we'll be over at the table and we can continue looking at this. Okay, I'm going to kind of take this in a little bit of a different direction. I've probably mentioned a couple of times before that I'm a teacher. A former student of mine from a good number of years back, who now lives in Florida and I'm in Ohio, her daughter may have gotten a tumbler for Christmas. I know that they were looking at it. They were having the same trouble that a lot of us are having. If you want to try to buy a tumbler right now, you can't get them. I know they were trying. I don't know if they did or didn't get one. If they did, it was probably a 3-pound tumbler that is roughly like this barrel. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go through and I'm going to set these up, but I'm going to be very, very detailed and explain everything, so that if that person did get their tumbler, we'll now have a little instruction video for them to know what to do. And anybody else that watches it, same thing. If you're new at this and you want to understand a little bit about it, there you go. So I'm going to go ahead, and I think I've still got a lot of that smoky quartz left. I'm going to do 1 barrel of smoky quartz, and I've got some red carnelian here that I'm going to put in the other barrel, and I might have to add some stuff to fill it up, but we'll see. Now here's the thing. First up, I have a double 3-pound barrel, so I'm going to run 2 3-pound barrels at the same time. That makes absolutely no difference. If you have a single 3-pound barrel, I'm not going to do anything different than if I was just doing a single barrel. Okay, first thing, they call this a 3-pound barrel. I'm not going to weigh this. That part is irrelevant. It doesn't matter that, well, it doesn't matter how much weight's in this barrel. Okay, what matters is how full I get it. We want it to be about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way full. If it's less than that, the rocks might beat each other up because they're tumbling too much. If it's more than that, I might not get any results from it because the rocks are packed in so tight they're not going to tumble at all. So it's kind of you got to find that happy medium. So I don't know how much poundage I'm going to put in here, but I'm going to fill it to about 2/3 to 3/4 full. And here's the thing, I'm not going to measure it. It's not that precise. It's not like there's a point that if I put 1 more rock in, it's going to ruin everything, but if I don't, it's going to be fine. No, it doesn't work like that. It's just got to be a little bit ballpark. Okay, so I'm going to get it to what is about 2/3 to 3/4 full. That looks like it's almost perfect. I don't know if I'm going to get all of this in. What? Yeah. No, I'm going to take a couple out. Okay, so there we go. So if you look at my barrel, alright, it's full to about there. Get a little closer. So it's full to about the top of my finger, which is probably 3/4 or maybe even a little bit over. Okay, and then I'll take a couple more out. Give a little bit of room. Okay, so there we go. Now, the next thing I have to do is add grit and water. I'm using what I call straight 60 grit. What that means is this is 60 grit. Yeah, that's what I just said. Okay, it's kind of like sandpaper. The lower the number, the more aggressive the abrasion of it. So basically, this is going to take more rock away than if I used a higher number. Now, a lot of people use 60-90. I have some straight 80 over there. I have some 60-90 over there. And to be very honest with you, I don't know that this makes a huge difference that I'm using straight 60. But 60-90 means that in the grit, I would have everything from 60 to 90 kind of mixed all together, where this is all 60 level grit. Okay, now I'm going to put, they say, I think they say a tablespoon per pound of rock. But once again, I didn't even weigh them. I don't know how many pounds are in there, but basically I'm going to put 3 of my little scoops. My little scoops are supposed to be 2 tablespoons. So I'm putting the equivalent of 6 tablespoons in there. I could probably get away with less. Okay, and here's the thing, even if my little scoop is off and it's not exactly 2 tablespoons. That doesn't matter. It's not like if I'm off by 1/1000th of an ounce, it's going to ruin the whole thing. No. Worst case here is the rocks don't wear much and I waste a week. Now, time is time, but basically it's not like it's going to ruin everything or mess anything up or whatever. So I'm going to put 3 of these in. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then I want to fill it up with water, but only to a little below the top of the rocks. What most people say is to the bottom of the top rocks. So you don't want all the rocks underwater, but you want to see the top of the water right below that top level of rocks. Okay, and once again, if you're off by a little bit, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, now this is step 1. If you look at these rocks, they mostly look like this. Okay, and let me see if I can get that to focus. There we go. They mostly look like this. They've got rough edges, and they're not flat surfaces. Okay, that's what step 1's for. It's the rounding stage. It's going to take all these hard edges off these rocks. It's going to smooth them out, and then we go from there. Now, the probably, in my opinion, the biggest mistake we get are people that get this idea. Okay, you get your tumbler in the direction. It says step 1, 1 week. Step 2, 1 week. Step 3, 1 week. These rocks are not going to be done in 1 week. I'm telling you that right now. A week from now, I'm actually probably going to go 8 days because today's Thursday, so I'll probably take them out next Friday. Okay, they're not going to be done. They're not going to be completely rounded off. I'm not going to be happy with them at that point. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put them back in step 1 again, and I'm going to do it again. Okay, and what will happen is after 2 or 3 weeks, I'll have some that I think are ready to move on. I'll pull those out, and then at that point, I'll worn these down that there won't be enough rocks in the barrel, so I'm going to have to add some more in to fill it back up. So eventually, you're going to have what I put in that 12-pound earlier. There were rocks in there that had probably already done 3 or 4 weeks at least in step 1. There were probably some in there that only did 1 week. Okay, but every week what I do is I take them out, I clean them off. Okay, what's ready to move on? What's not? And by ready to move on, what I mean is, okay, it's only going to get shiny if you've got a smooth surface for it to get shiny. Okay, so basically a rough rock like this, I'm not going to be able to make it shiny. Okay, I could put this in the Lotto right now, and it would shine any smooth surfaces that happen to be on this rock, but it's not going to make the whole rock shiny. So what I'm looking for is I want all the edges rounded, I want all the surfaces smooth. If there's any cracks in it or pits in it that I think I can wear out, then I want those gone. Now, if you have something, remember, you're not taking tons of the rock off. So if I had a pit in a rock that looks like it's a 1/4 inch deep, it would take me months to wear the rock down that far. So sometimes you might have to just be willing to accept it as it is. Okay, but that's the judgment, and that's up to you. Okay, so if you look at it and you're like, you know what, I don't think I can get that out of it, then go ahead and move on. Now, once they are ready, then I do agree. You're going to do a week in step 2, a week in step 3, and a week in step 4. The big prep stage, the meat stage, is stage 1. And if you watch the YouTube groups, every time you get a new member, the first thing, can I skip step 1? There aren't rock tumbling police that are going to arrest you if you skip step 1, but I kind of doubt you're going to get the results you want. Okay, so in most cases, I would say no, don't skip step 1. Step 1, I think, is the key stage. If you do long enough in step 1, 2, 3, and 4 will take care of themselves. Okay, but that's how this works. Now, I've got these in there. I have not put the water in yet. I did forget to do that once. That's not something you want to do. It didn't ruin anything, but what happened was I noticed after a couple of days that it sounded weird, and something made me think. So I opened up the barrel and I realized there was no water in the barrel, and I had a dusty, dirty mess inside that barrel. I had to start over, clean everything up, start over. So yeah, you don't want to do that. Basically, I'm just going to take, same as I did with the 12, ooh, there's something in my water there. Same as with the 12 pound, I'm going to fill it up till it is just below the top of the rocks. I think I am going to go ahead and throw these in there. Okay, and then, as I said before, I'm going to put my lid on. I wet the edges of the lid. I don't know if that makes any difference at all. I don't know if it helps at all. I do it. It doesn't hurt. I know that, so I do it. There's that lid's on. I'm going to take this lid, push it down, put the washer on, screw this down. Now here's the thing. This nut, you want it nice and snug, but you don't want to crank it down. You can actually ruin your lid that way. So absolutely do not get a wrench and tighten that lid down. What I do is I tighten out till it feels pretty tight. I push down again on the edges of the lid, and I give another little turn, and that's good. That's what I'm going to do. So this is my barrel. It's ready to go. Now with this one, I'm going to repeat the same process. I'm going to put my red carnelian in there. I absolutely do not have enough. Okay, I probably don't even have this half full. Okay, so I'm going to grab some other stuff to throw in there. I've got some fancy jasper and some petrified wood, and I think I'm going to fill it up with that. So when I was cleaning up, I found a lot of old stuff I didn't even realize I still had. So here's some fancy jasper I'm going to throw in there. And here's some petrified wood I'm going to throw in there. And we'll see how that goes. Same deal. That looks like plenty to me. I'm going to put this time I'm going to put the water in first. I usually do put the water in first. I don't think it makes a bit of difference. Because here's the thing, all the grit's on the bottom of my other one, but when I put it on there and it starts spinning, it's going to stir it all up. It's not going to stay there. So that's fine. Need a little more water here. Water. And of course I put the grit away. What am I thinking? It's been a while. I'll get back in the swing of things pretty quick. So here we go. One, two, three. Okay, I got my grit in there. Put the lid on just like I did with the other one. Put my grit back. Alright, put the first lid in. Second lid on. The washer, same as before, tighten down the nut. Push it down a little more. Tighten down a little more. And here we go, we're ready. I'm going to move over to the station again. We'll be back in just a second. Alright, we're back. Now, with a double 3-pound, you want to put the bottoms against each other, like that. You want the lids to the outside. On mine, there's a little thing right here and a little thing right here. It will keep the lids from rubbing up against the metal parts of the tumbler. But basically, you just pop them on there, and then I can turn on my 3. And there we go, we got them going. Okay, I can't load up the Lotto today. The Lotto is right over here. Oop, wow, that was bad. Sorry about that. Okay, the Lotto's right here. The Lotto you can't do step 1 in. This is a vibratory tumbler. Step 1 grit would tear up my barrel, so basically my workflow is I do step 1 in the rotaries, and when I get enough rocks, I can fill up the Lotto, and then I can do steps 2, 3, and 4 in the Lotto. Alright, well, welcome back if you are a previous watcher of my videos. Welcome if you're new, and I'll probably be back in about a week, and we'll take a look at what happened with all the rocks we put in those barrels. Happy tumbling, see you in about a week.